welcome to State of Business on Art Television. I'm Heshain Ali and let's have a look at the headlines first. UNP leader proposes the presidential candidate. Public sector salaries will be increased next year. News in detail. The UNP Working Committee met this evening at the UNP headquarters, Kotte, and unanimously approved the name of Sajith Premadasa as the party's presidential candidate. During the announcement of the decision, hundreds of party supporters had gathered in front of the Sirikota UNP headquarters. The Working Committee of the United National Party has unanimously decided to name Deputy Leader Sajith Premadasa as the UNF's candidate for the upcoming president election. Sirikota sources said that the UNP Working Committee had convened a meeting at 3 p.m. today at the party headquarters Sirikota to finalize the presidential candidate of the United National Front, and during the meeting, UNP leader Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe proposed the name of Minister Sajith Premadasa for candidacy, and the Working Committee unanimously approved it. He is Deputy Leader of the UNP and Minister of Housing, Construction and Cultural Affairs. Addressing the Working Committee, the UNP leader stated that the opinion of many was to take a decision without causing a division in the party and that they will be moving forward according to the policies. According to the Sirikota sources, UNP leader Wickremesinghe had said that as most have preferred Minister Premadasa, it is high time to join together with the other political parties in the alliance and discuss on how to win the election. Social Democratic Party of Sri Lanka yesterday announced that the leader of their party, known businessman Dr. Rohan Pallewatha, will be contesting the presidential election year 2019. The announcement was made in a function held in Colombo last evening, and it had been invited a number of professionals where Dr. Rohan Pallewatha explained his vision as to how the country should be led for the development. Addressing the gathering, he also explained how to use his business expertise in the Sri Lankan political arena.
Quality requirement of the product that I do is called 1 ppm quality. That is 1 part per million is the defect tolerance rate. And that is the highest level of quality anywhere in the world. The world was skeptical when I was trying on this. They said, can Sri Lanka deliver that level of quality? But I had thoughts to the contrary. Looking at all the great monuments built by our ancestors almost 2,500 years ago, I was convinced to the contrary. I thought that this DNA must be somewhere, this gene must be somewhere in our people. I believed that provided the right leadership, that I could rekindle this DNA, and I was right. And I managed to build up a company now that has a turnover of $80 million annually.
Dr. Pallewatha also said that he listened to a lot and fully realized the difference and the distance between the business and the politics in Sri Lanka, as he was capable of winning the world as a successful entrepreneur.
And it is with that experience that I built the confidence, because people may say governing a country and running a business are two different things. But of course there are perils. People might try to look down, but then sometimes international business is much more difficult than running an island nation like Sri Lanka. I started by supplying to Japan, but now I'm supplying to 17 countries including China and India. Whenever you enter a country, you are conquering that country because you have to be superior in your pricing, in your quality, in your delivery. It is only then that you can enter the market of another country. So far I have conquered with my business, I have conquered 17 countries including China and India. So the Sri Lankans, as I said, this gene is in us and we can do it. So that is the kind of leadership that I want to present my country with as your president.
Addressing a media briefing yesterday, Finance Minister Mangala Samaravira said that the salaries of government employees would be increased by 120 billion rupees after a proposal approved by the cabinet. Meanwhile, the minister also noted that the demand by disabled war veterans asking for a full pay with benefits to be paid to their wives or next of kin is not possible due to the existing salary regulations. Cabinet approved the salary escalation of government employees that will be increased with an annual cost 120 billion rupees for the government. The cabinet paper, which was approved on the 10th of this month, gives additional funding to pay the salaries and pensions of the government employees, which are currently estimated at about 1 trillion rupees. From 2020, the amount will be increased to 1.12 trillion rupees according to the Finance Ministry. Minister Samaravira told that following a cabinet decision taken on Tuesday, the salaries of all government employees would be increased from 1st of January 2020. This was a change from the initial proposal by the Treasury to give half of the salary increase in January and the remainder from the 1st of July next year.
In the budget, we announced that it will be implemented from the 1st of July of 2020. But at the last cabinet meeting, it was decided that it has been advanced to 1st of January 2020.
Meanwhile, Minister Samaravira stated that a cabinet decision taken this week seeing the armed forces and police personnel who were disabled during the war entitled to their pension equivalent to their last salary for the remainder of their lives is a historic decision. But the minister and treasury officials pointed out that the demand by disabled war veterans that their full pay with benefits should be paid to their wives or next of kin is not possible due to existing salary regulations. But the spouse or nominated next of kin would receive a significant amount of the pay as pension as usual. Stay tuned for more news right after this commercial break. Welcome back after the break. Parliamentarian Anurupriyada Shanayapa calls the Election Commission to take immediate action against government's misappropriative activities launched targeting the forthcoming election, implying that they are against election laws. Anurupriyada Shanayapa made these claims today morning addressing a media briefing organized by Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna.
Now we are getting ready for elections, nomination dates have been called, but we are very well aware that government ministers are recruiting people at a rate. That's a big issue. During the elections, I think no one can recruit any person without a proper procedure. Without following the procedure, they have started recruiting people to various government institutions. And we are aware that most of the government institutions are now running at a massive loss. So they are increasing the burden by recruiting personnel to those institutions because they want to somehow win elections. And we would like to say that this is not a tradition that we have followed for a long time. During election time, we never recruited people. We never recruited people for political gains. And not only that, they are distributing materials, cement and other things. Last week, we have seen large stock of cement are being distributed in Hambantota district by a candidate himself. So these things are against all norms of democracy and also against the election laws. We will urge the Election Commission to take appropriate action to prevent this type of things and to have a peaceful environment.
Addressing the same media briefing, parliamentarian Keheliya Rambukwala informed the media on foreign policy framework of Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna's presidential candidate Gotabaya Rajapaksa.
Now, just one point which I would like to clear and have some clarity in is our foreign policy. Insofar as the foreign policy is concerned, we will remain non-aligned. There is no question of being aligned to any power. We will work with all superpowers and all our friends, and there will be in a position, in fact, ourselves will be open for any discussions with any foreign nation. That's very clear, need to make. We do have our friends. I mean, our giant neighbor has been our friend for long years. During good times, bad times, worst times, they have assisted us immensely. In fact, 2009, we wouldn't have seen, the country wouldn't have seen an end to the conflict, a civil conflict, a terrorist conflict, if not for the support that was extended by India, and so as China and rest of the world, in fact even USA, right? So there is a mixed bag, and we are a small country, a small nation with a small economy. We need all our neighbors and outsides as our friends.
The Maritime and Supply Chain International Conference was held in Colombo yesterday under the theme of empowering women in the maritime community, marking the World Maritime Day as declared by the International Maritime Organization. The conference highlighted that the ports won't be successful without professional people or adequate expertise.
Actually, International Maritime Organization has declared 25th of September as the International Maritime Day, and the theme is empowering women in the maritime industry. So to coincide with the theme and the International Maritime Day, CASA, Ceylon Association of Shipping Agents, and the Insta Charter Ship Brokers UK and Sri Lanka have got together, partnered with each other to run this conference to commemorate the International Maritime Day.
Versatility and adaptability, something you need to have in shipping in abundance, being able to face the challenges that come day to day. So successful ports, which I know Sri Lanka has a great future in the port area, also need professional people. That is a message that I've given out in so many countries around the world, that you can develop your ports, but unless you have the expertise in the interland, your ports are not going to be that successful. One of the places that I notice this more than anywhere at the moment in the world is possibly Bangladesh, where there is massive growth but very little shipping expertise.
Minister of Ports and Shipping Southern Development Sagar Ratnayaka states that the policymakers and industrial leaders should encourage increased female participation in the port industry. Minister made these observations addressing the Maritime and Supply Chain International Conference held in Colombo yesterday.
The lack of gender balance in the maritime sector has remained a pressing issue for many years. This year's theme therefore highlights that we must pursue meaningful action to ensure gender balance in our sector, which involves empowering women to bring value to this dynamic industry. As policymakers and industry leaders, it is our responsibility to support the participation of women in both shore-based and seagoing posts, in line with the goals outlined under the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, which promotes achieving gender equality and empowering all women and girls. It is also not just the SDGs, it should be part of our commitment as a community. This requires an inclusive environment in which women are identified and selected for career development opportunities in maritime administrations, ports and maritime training institutes, etc. Such an environment will enable women to train alongside men in their maritime institutes with access to high-level technical training. The most important aspect of empowering women is that it unfailingly fuels economic growth and development and benefits every stratum of society.
Dell Technologies announced the launch of a biannual beach cleanup plan, inviting volunteers to join and help prevent plastic pollution within the waters of Sri Lanka. 4 consecutive cleanup sessions would be held at Kalatura, Gaul, Trincomalee and Vattala beaches respectively. Furthermore, a portal would also be designed for volunteers who wish to register themselves for the cleanup. This primary beach cleanup marks the commencement of a continuous initiative that is expected to be held biannually. Dell has also planned a Children's Day Art competition for all volunteering kids to partake in and create artwork based on how the pollution of oceans leads to dire consequences, and this would add to efforts motivating the younger generation to become more environmentally friendly while educating them on how conservation efforts can benefit the world. This initiative is based on Dell's pledge to commit to the Sustainable Goal number 14 and provide solutions for one of the most recurring global issues. Stay tuned for stock updates right after this break. Welcome back. Trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on a positive note today. The all share price index gained 10.36 points to close at 5,772.76, and the S&P SL20 gained 13.52 points to close at 2,754.91. The turnover was 273 million rupees and over 16 million shares were traded. Up next are forex rates. That's all news for today. Do join us tomorrow with State of Business. Until then, take care. Good night.